Hi, how are you?
Good, good. My name is Rick. I interviewed you before. I'm from the Philippines. I'm the guy who said I used to live in Jersey City
Yep.
for quite
Yeah.
a number of years. How are you, sir? Happy New Year, sir.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you as well.
Good to see you. And I won't take too much of your time, 10 minutes. I've seen a lot of the interviews, so I'm not going to ask all of it, but I'll just ask a few of them if you don't mind.
Okay. Okay,
All
no
right,
problem.
then. Again, once more, the fight will be shown here live in the Philippines for 12 hours ahead. So that's going to be around 8 a.m. in the morning. And as always, it's one of the most watched events in the Philippines. And all right, sir. How good was it to get that performance of the night heading into this huge match, sir?
You know, it was definitely great to get that extra bonus coming out of my last fight. It I had a couple weeks of not knowing opponents and stuff like that, right? I ended up going through three different opponents for that last one. Um and then in the last like 2 days is when I got my final one. So it was a little nerve wracking. You never know what to expect. Jesse came in there with absolutely nothing to lose, so that makes him dangerous.
Yes.
It was his UFC debut, but he also has between amateur and professional, I think it was like 32 fights or something like that. Going into that fight, so he definitely wasn't inexperienced. So yeah, to go out and to perform well it's great, and uh, yeah, I was happy with my performance. Sometimes when they're that quick, it's like, I didn't even break a sweat. You gotta feel a little bit like it almost didn't happen. But yeah, it was good to go out and have a great performance.
I know you did say that you're not a fan of long layoffs. And,
Mhm.
is this why you're taking this fight instead of waiting for 300?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I was actually asking to fight in like November or December. I actually I landed two punches in that last fight, and I ended up breaking my thumb. So I had a couple weeks off, but it was healed up after 8 weeks. So I was chomping at the bit to get in again, but before the end of the year, and unfortunately that didn't happen. But here we are, 2 weeks into 2024, and I get the opportunity to fight. So the plan was always to fight in between. That last fight was beginning of June, so it would be uh a 10 and a half month layoff to wait all the way into UFC 300. So that's not my style.
Mhm,
So 42 fights. This will be my 43rd fight in the
mhm,
promotion. I've never been the type to do that, and I'm not going to start now.
mhm. Long layoffs, they can go either way. We've seen
Hmm.
work for some. It's been terrible for others, like Luke Rockhold, and it's the same with Benitez. He's been out for what, more than a year, like a year and
Hmm.
4 or 5 months, and all that. Having said that, and we saw that with Colby Covington in the last fight. He looked
Hmm.
so that wasn't the Covington we know,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think it was a mistake to take that fight. He shouldn't have gone that first, taken another opponent before going to that big fight. But anyways, um, is the idea to go at Benitez right away without giving away your tactics?
Mhm.
Does it help to attack him right away and put him on a back heel because he's still feeling himself out?
My goal every time I step inside the octagon is to make it a Jim Miller fight, and that's where I excel, is moving forward, putting pressure on my opponents, and making them be reactive. And there's there's hours of film on me, and hours of film on what works for me and what doesn't work for me. So at this point, I'm completely comfortable talking about game plans and styles and stuff like that, because it's all there.
Right,
There's
right.
no unknown with me at this point. So yeah, the goal is to go out and to press them and to make it a fight, um, because that's where I'm the most dangerous, with my striking and with my submissions. So um, yeah, I'm gonna go out and press hard for 15 minutes, and I'm looking for that opportunity to finish the fight.
I know that the idea is also to take less damage as possible and still keep that door open. I know you're not looking ahead
Mhm,
of Benitez, but if it happens, it happens. That's the perfect
mhm.
world. But if it doesn't happen, a win is all you want, right, sir?
Yeah, I mean, like, I, I'm, I'm not. People might give me crap for this, and say that it's a mistake. But I'm going out there to fight as hard as I can.
Mm, of
Like,
course.
even though it's like, hey, you've got this thing on the horizon and this and that, and it's this milestone. Um, yeah, I'm going out to win, and
Right.
if that means it's a knockdown, drag out, brutal fight, so be it. Fortunately, even at 40, I still seem to heal pretty well. So 3 months will be enough time to recoup, and get myself back into the fight game.
I know that you mentioned your age, and I'm 15 years older, sir. And in fact, I think I tore up my knee the other day. I'm gonna go get it scoped today because it really, really
Oh,
hurts.
sorry to hear
Um,
about
no, it's okay, it's all right. Well, it's not all right, but I have to
that.
keep moving forward, right, sir? But the
Hmm.
question is, I know you probably get this a lot, but and you like you said, you keep moving forward. How do you keep that mentality day to day? And people wonder, when you hit a certain age, they wonder how long can he keep this going? How long can he keep that
Hmm.
attitude of just moving forward and not changing his tactics? Your reaction to that, Jim?
Um, I'm gonna fight until I can't. You know, I and this is one of the things I don't know, personally a lot of my peers like Tony Ferguson or some of the other
Mm,
guys that have fought, late into their career. And I do know Frank Yeager pretty well. And like with a guy like Tony, I see that a lot of people are their recommendation for him is to, remember who he was and
mm,
and fight like that. And Tony in 2023 is not the Tony of 2018.
definitely.
They're two different animals. I honestly I believe that Tony's run, his 12 wins in a row at lightweight, is the most impressive run that we have ever seen inside the octagon. The 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 violence with which he was beating guys, and not only just random fighters, but the best of the best that lightweight had to offer. And lightweight is always the most competitive division.
Hmm.
Uh, and just the utter dominance that he was winning with was super impressive.
You're right.
Um, but he's not that guy anymore.
Hmm.
And I know that I'm not the guy that I was in 2010
Hmm.
and 2012. And like I'm not the guy that I used to be. Um, so I've figured out how to make myself as dangerous as I can be with what I've got to offer today, not
Hmm.
10 years ago. So, like I know that being aggressive is always going to suit me, but I've definitely throttled it back a little bit, even in my training. Like it's kind of silly when I think about it, like the maybe it's just the maturity thing. But it's like when I used to do my grappling rounds, it would be I'm subbing my training partner out as many times as I can in 5 minutes. And then the next round, I'm doing it to the next guy, and then the next guy, and then the next guy. And now it's like, a couple of years ago, I had this realization. It's like, I only need one in a fight.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, I've started in my training to be a lot more like tactical and make it so that that one opportunity is even better than just throwing things against the wall and hoping they stick. So there's still that aggression. I'm still going to press people. I'm still going to make them reactive. Um, but I feel like I'm doing it in a calmer and more aware way, because it used to just be my eyes would roll back in my head, and the elevator music would start playing, and yeah, like things would happen. Now it's like, okay, let's keep the pressure on. Let's work this. Let's work that. Let's set up our strikes. Let's set up our opportunities, and it seems to be working.
You mentioned Tony, and it was difficult watching his last two fights, especially the one against Paddy. And
Hmm.
there's a part of me that says, Tony, hang it up, please, please. I don't want
Hmm.
people this image of you to be remembered by me or other fans. And I know you
Hmm.
mentioned the 12 fight win streak, but some, the question therefore is, do you believe that your body tells you when there are changes? We start to feel it when we wake up, when we do
Hmm.
something. We know that there are changes. You're
Hmm.
not feeling that, right? You're not, because I'm as a fan of Jim Miller. I don't want you to go out in the worst way possible. I want you to go out with a blaze of
Hmm.
glory. And yeah, this is it, man. Do you feel it? Your body's not telling you anything, right? You're good.
There are definitely uh there are definitely parts of my body that are telling me. you know, um, the thing of it is I know that at my best, I can compete with anybody on the planet.
Right.
And the sport hasn't left me behind, and my body hasn't, you know, become my own worst enemy yet. Um, the hard days, there's definitely a lot more hard days today than there were, years ago. But like my road is not like everybody else's. I mean, I I had a period in the middle that was completely obnoxious and different than any of my peers have ever had to deal with.
Mm,
I had an infection essentially that
right.
was causing my body to try to eat itself, and it attacked my nervous system, and
You are managing it better, right? You are managing it better
yes,
today.
yes, the Lyme disease has been under control for a few years now, but like I was ranked in the well within the top 10 in the world when I was bit by a tick, and at a time in my life when it should have been my prime was kind of stolen away from me. So I kind of accepted like the fact that, okay, my body's not going to be with me all the time. I'm not going to be that same guy all the time. Um, and it brought with it a level of gratitude that like I get to fight. I still get to fight. I still get this opportunity, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Um, but like it also brought like some humbleness of it. Like, hey man, like, you know, I I know that like other guys aren't dealing with, necessarily this stuff. And granted, there have been plenty of fighters that have dealt with worse stuff, in my opinion, than what I've had to deal with. Because again, I got bit by a tick. I had to deal with it where there are things that some of my peers have had to deal with that I wouldn't even want to
Mm,
uh
mm,
you know uh try to. But yeah, like I learned that it's okay to talk about the end of my career,
mm.
because I was preparing myself to retire all the way back in 2016. Uh, so yeah, it's been a weird road for me, to have it right there where it's like, okay, I need to stop, and now it's like, okay, well, we can kick the can down the road a little bit, like
Mm,
I went from
mhm.
like down here and I came up a little bit, and I didn't realize, I thought I when you feel like you double in your strength, but you were only at like 20%, like it feels great, but then you start to realize like, oh man, like I'm not even close to what my full potential is once I get healthy. So I struggled through that. I fought through it with, the support of my wife and family, and um, yeah, like I'm okay with the end coming in a handful of fights, um, but it's not going to be this weekend,
Right.
and like it. I want to know going in, and I don't think it would be beyond maybe next year. But I would like to fight one time close to home again before I hang them up.
You're talking about New Jersey, right?
Yes, yeah, New Jersey.
I love that state. People can say what they want, but I love New Jersey. So just this is my last question, and half of your career you've been fighting in the UFC, and not many people can
Hmm.
say that. And this is the third. It's still part of the 30th anniversary celebration of the
Hmm.
UFC. What does it mean to be a part of this? And I know that when you hang up your gloves, you'll be a Hall of Famer. You'll be one of the best, all-time best. But I know you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about what's ahead of you. Nevertheless, how cool is it to have been a part of the world's to be a part of the world's premier combat sports organization and to still be here and knocking out guys.
It's it's really cool. Like I mean, uh, I signed with the UFC in 2008. And and
Mm,
and I've got four kids, and my oldest was born in 2010. So like I've been with this organization longer than I've had my children. It's like I can't even remember too much before them, at this point. Like I don't want to. So it's like it's nutty to have been here fighting this level of competition for this long, and to have seen the changes that have happened, with the growth of the sport. Um, and that's one of the things, like that's why I'm grateful about, being able to continue this, that my body hasn't, you know, uh, stopped me from being able to do this yet. But
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, it's fun to be a part of, and when I'm in the back warming up for fights, early in my career, there's just this level of intensity. I would just get fired up, and it wasn't. I don't like the word fear,
Mm,
associating with like fighting, because I'm really not afraid of anything that's going to happen inside the cage, like pain, whatever, like
you
deal
should
with it day to
accept it.
day,
You should
right?
accept it,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
part of it's
E-
part of the
e-
hazards.
exactly, right. I think a fighter dealing with physical pain is like a swimmer getting wet. Like it's part of
Mm,
the game.
mm-hmm.
Um, and some of the like younger fighters, and even some fighters at this level worry about what other people think, and that maybe embarrassment or judgment of other people, and that's never bothered me either. But like I always just would get super fired up, and maybe it's a level of focus, and it's just you're putting yourself into a mildly dangerous situation. But nowadays, like I'm trying to hold back smiles. Like I'm warming up, we're getting ready to walk out, and it's like, man, this is cool. Like it's fun to watch some of the younger fighters, and the watch the emotions that they're going through, and then like having the realization that like I'm like like I'm a couple notches above them. Like they're gonna get there at some point,
Mm,
like, but they're
mm,
still in that like super butterflies, and
mm,
they don't know what they're to expect, and it's like, man, like I fought pretty much everybody. I've seen pretty much everything that could be thrown at me. uh so it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna have some fun, and put on a show, and yeah, like make the most of it, and it's cool. It's really cool to have reached this level of experience in the sport, where now I get to experience it this way, because it's really fun.
hmm. And it makes you a bit more loose, right? Not too
Oh
tensed up
yeah,
and all that. Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
and the calmer and more fun I'm having, the calmer I am, the more dangerous I am too. So
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
it's a win-win.
Exactly. Oh, sorry. So your kids are UFC babies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. The last word on this coming fight with Benitez. It's massive, and it propels you obviously to the next fight. And your final thoughts about it, sir.
I'm excited for the fight. I'm a fan of Gabriel. I like the way he fights, and this is one of those fights that I'm excited about. Um, yeah, like I'm excited for the fight on Saturday, to go out there and to share the octagon with him.
Right. Last word. I mean, last thing. Kindly invite the Filipinos, both in the Philippines and the United States, to come out and support you this coming Sunday. So just say something like, "Hi, I'm Jim Miller, and I'm fighting this Sunday at UFC Fight Night." And so, just go ahead, sir.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller. Thank you to everybody in the Philippines for supporting me. Come watch me fight this Saturday, January 13th. Thank you very much.
Well, wonderful. Let's just get a quick picture before we're done, sir.
Sure.
And as I said before, well, okay, let's just take the picture first. Here we go. Oh, sorry. All right, hold on. I pressed it a little bit early. Here we go. Sir Jim, when you decide to hang it up, whenever that is, the invite still stands to visit the Philippines. We'll host you. Just let
All
the
right.
UFC know. We'll see what we can do. We'll show you around, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Good luck and get a win, sir. I'd love to see
Thank-
you UFC 300 or wherever it is, sir. Bye-bye, sir.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good one.